Okay, this is now the 5 Minute Tarot for the 3rd of November 2017, and today it's about the reversed five of batons. But I'm also going to talk a little bit about Stranger Things, but it has to do with not so much what does a card mean, but how to make sense of it in answer to a question. So today's Friday, and yesterday I walked down to the bus stop to get the bus to the train to take the train into Toronto to see my daughter, and that was Thursday, and then on Wednesday night I had watched episode 6 of Stranger Things with my wife, and I'm kind of bored with it. She thought it was good and she enjoyed it, and so I'm walking down the street yesterday thinking about why I've got bored with Stranger Things season 2, because I liked season 1, and I thought season 1 was mainly about 11 or Elle and about where she came from and how she was going to be rescued, and the boys Dustin and Luke or Lucas and Mike, and it was a bit about Winona rescuing the son and figuring out what's going on. So it was kind of there was one main thing happening, whereas I find that with season 2 you've got Winona and the relationship with Brainy Bob, and then you've got Justin and the animal, and you've got Nancy and the new boyfriend maybe, and you've got the sheriff and what's going on with him, and you've got the scientists and so on, and I'm leaving out other things as well, and you've got 8 as well, and you've got a little bit of 11. And it's a bit like there's all these different threads going on, and somehow it doesn't work. I don't think the pacing's good, because I think there's just too much going on. Okay, so I'm thinking about that as I'm walking down the road. Then yesterday afternoon, I'm back from Toronto, and my wife has been writing. She wrote a non-fiction book called Creating from the Inside Out, and now she's doing fiction. And she had various chapters, really interesting. But she's got this complicated story that she's been working on. And she said to me yesterday afternoon, can the book, the completed book, even though it's not completed, can the book talk to her through the tarot and tell her what to do? Because she gets stuck from time to time. And she's been stuck at a certain point for ages and doesn't quite know what to do. So she wanted to know, can the book talk to her and tell her what to do? And I said, everything can do everything. So the tarot can do everything. So I shuffled, and she wanted to know, what does she do? What's supposed to happen? Or how does she handle the fact that she's stuck? So I shuffled, and I picked one card, and I got the 5 of batons upside down. And this is the reason, this video is about the 5 of batons reversed. So if you think about the 5 of batons, you've got these 5 young men, and they've got batons, one in each hand, or each one of them is a baton, and they're sort of posturing and gesturing and competing with each other, and they're making a point, and maybe they're yelling as well and trying to draw attention to themselves, or they want to be in charge, so they're acting in a certain kind of a way to prove that they ought to be in charge. But it's upside down. So what's the book telling my wife, whose name is Susan? So what's the book telling Susan? And it's a bit like, instead of having, because there's a main character called a young woman, Blaze, and then there's an older fellow, and she's got these multiple characters. So I said what she has to do is pick one person and tell that person's story. And then because you've got 5 people competing, but the card is upside down, so it's a bit like the book is saying, don't do that. If the 5 of cards have been upright, then you've got various characters interweave their stories and tell the whole story at the same time. But the fact that the 5 of batons was upside down, I said, is saying, don't do that. Choose one person and tell that one person's story. And when you get to the end of their story, maybe you then understand differently or understand better about the other characters and what their story is meant to be. Or else you finish one story and then you look at the other main character and tell his story. And then later, who knows when, or 6 months from now, a year from now, you're in a position where you can actually handle the complexity of the plot. And then I'm thinking, I wonder, it's a bit like the information that I used to make sense of the Five of Batons reverse, in a way, duplicated what I thought earlier that morning about Stranger Things season 2 and how it's not working. Because I was saying that season 1 worked because there was one well, there were other characters, but it was sort of about 11. There was a focus for things. And the advice I'm saying that the tarot, the Five of Batons reversed, is a same kind of thing. You're trying to tell a story, but tell the story from the point of view of one individual first. And once you've done that, move on to somebody else. If you choose, once you've done one story, maybe you understand something, or you end up believing or understanding something different than you understand right now. But don't prejudge everything. You can go into it thinking you're going to have to do weaving of different storylines later, but maybe you actually don't. But until you've told the one person's story, you're not really in a position to know what the whole thing is going to be about. That's it. The Five of Batons. You've got so it's not so much what does the card mean, but you look at the picture and we've got 5 people competing with each other, and the question is about a story that's being written. So instead of 5 people, you get 5 characters, each wanting to tell their own story, but it's upside down, so don't do that. Pick one. And that's what I wanted to tell you today. So I'll tell you something else next time. Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day. Okay, bye-bye.